our client, Ray Budd, he was exposed to asbestos working starting when he was 10 years old. His dad started bringing him along to jobs. He was a drywall worker. Him and his brother owned this drywall business. And so he started teaching him because he wanted to teach him the trade. His father had done it. Ray Budd, his father, Orpheus, was now doing it, and he wanted to teach this trade to his son. So starting when he was a young kid, he starts bringing him along to these job sites and teaches him, amongst other things, how to do this drywall work. And Kaiser Gypsum was the defendant in our case.
We had a guy with a criminal history, and we had a guy who had potentially misidentified a product. And our plaintiff also arguably changed his testimony between discovery and his deposition. So these were some difficulties. Now, there's a theory. People come to a judgment whether they like, agree, or dislike or disagree with somebody based on, not only what they know about them, but the order in which they learn. Okay? So the idea is you have somebody named Alan, a hypothetical Alan, and this is how you describe Alan to the juror: intelligent, industrious, impulsive, critical, stubborn, envious. Now, you have Ben, who is envious, stubborn, critical, impulsive, industrious, and intelligent. And who do you like more, Alan or Ben? I mean, you're going to like, yeah, you like Alan. Everybody likes Alan. Alan's a cool guy. But Alan's also the same person because he has all of the same adjectives that apply to him as Ben does. They're just in a different order. So what do we learn from this sequencing matters idea? We learn how to set up our opening.
For our case, we knew we wanted it to be quick because of the pandemic. That was constantly in the back of our minds. We wanted to make sure that the jurors felt safe. We wanted to make sure, we're cognizant of the fact that we're asking them, when everyone's supposed to be quarantining, to be sitting through a 2 to 3 week trial, and we don't want to make them uncomfortable with that. The way it was spread out, the way that we were set up is we situated our tables so that we were facing this way, and it was kind of like a battle, going against battle with defense counsel. They were sitting on the room across from us, facing us. The judge was in the front of the room, along with the witness stand. And then you had the jury in the back. So you had to figure out how to be able to talk both to the jury behind you and to the witness in front of you, if that's what you're doing. Or if it's via Zoom, the screen is in front of you too.
The setup of this courtroom, there have been a couple of questions anyway. We're at the Maidenbauer Center. And so we're in about a 30 by 60 foot convention hall room. And those at the back of the room where the jury came in was one of those dividers. On the other side of the divider was the jury deliberation room. It was a jury room. And when I finished presenting Mrs. Budd, the defense counsel stands up and says, "Judge, I would like to speak to the court outside the presence of the jury." The jury goes behind this little divider. And then at that point, counsel for the defense proceeds to speak much louder than he typically does and says, "He sexually abused his daughter." And it's like, oh, dude. They were trying to get it in fair or foul. They knew that it was a case killer. But after the argument outside the presence of the jury, the court noted that I did not show the pictures that we proved up of Mr. Budd with the grandchildren to the jury yet. I didn't publish it. So we didn't open the door. We only asked about the care, what he used to like to do that he can't do now, and that was it.
Yeah. These voir dires you were conducting were through Zoom. So yes. None of the potential jurors were in the courtroom. They were all in their own house, and the focus groups you did preparations that were Zoom voir dire focus groups, correct? Yeah, Dan. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. So in the course of doing these Zoom voir dires, if you're just looking at my face and not seeing anything else, there's nothing to distract you from the eyes. The mask covered this part of our face. And when we did the voir dire in trial, the only thing that the panel saw from the comfort of their own home while we were in the courtroom with court staff and opposing counsel was this.
This is all the jury, the panelists saw during voir dire. Now, damages. The specific question that we had to use was, first of all, the judge wasn't going to let us inform the jury what our ask was going to be. He did not let us. I tried to go into saying, we're going to be asking for 20, and then there was an objection. So they objected to me asking in voir dire, or telling them what I was going to ask as far as damages. So instead, we pose a hypothetical. And that was just enough on the razor's edge to where when the attorney objected to my hypothetical, the judge overruled and allowed me to ask. So my question was this. So imagine, again, using the most powerful word in the English language, imagine, there's a newspaper headline that says, $25 million verdict for blue-collar worker with terminal cancer. Now just sit with that for a second. The specific idea, just sit with that for a second, is to have them actually imagine this. When the jury has imagined it, they're much more likely to do it. It's called the vivid outcome. The more vivid the outcome, if they see something happen, they're more likely to be able to replicate that or then do it. And we use that again and again and again in this trial. Imagine your best days. I asked the jury, we're talking about non-economic assets. Imagine your best days. The juror, funny you mentioned that. I just did a vaccine trial, and they go through that as your rating. It's kind of like if your day is a 3 or a 2 or a 1 or a 0. And so, yeah, I kind of know what you mean. It's on a scale, sort of. And I say, yeah, that's right. Juror, you're right. You're the right person. I just want to ask you about it. So like a 5 out of 5, what's that a 5 out of 5 day for you? The juror gives me back a 5 out of 5. You know, my mental health feels great. I'm socializing. I want to work out or cook or hang out with my husband or who knows, just an easy, normal day. And so immediately after that, I go, thank you. You know, yeah. 385, can I talk to you? Can I ask you that? Same question? Yeah, same question. Yeah, you know, mental health and quality time with my family. So we weren't able to get into that in our damages presentation, but we didn't need to. The jury got into that for us. So that was damages. That's how we handle damages in this. And mind you, they're just looking at my eyes, but my eyes are smiling. My eyes are smiling. My brow is up. I'm at attention. I'm listening to them. And that's how you got to do it via Zoom in the COVID era.